Extraterrestrials Took Me to Their Planet. Claude Rael started a second book out as a biography, which later turned into this book. He wrote about how he had a hard time struggling to become a race car driver. In the autobiography, he told about some supernatural things relating to UFOs and such. He told about meeting the last of the Jewish French monks who ever lived, last pope or whatever. He talked about the public's reaction to his first book and making a lot of friends. Anyways, when he is on vacation to one of his friends' fancy houses in the countryside, he woke up one morning and found a mark on his arm, which later morphed from 3 dots into 1 dot. So after that happened, he took a walk one night, very unafraid. He walked some cliff area, and after he walked to the edge of the cliff, a craft appeared. He knew what it was and was unafraid. So a walkway came down from the craft. It was Yahweh once again for a second meeting. Yahweh said, "Come with me, we are very pleased with your work." And Yahweh made the craft appear to a larger craft. They were not on Earth anymore, they were somewhere in Earth's solar system, at an extraterrestrial base. Rael asked, "How many are you there here?" Yahweh disclosed 7, including 2 circumstances. 7 eternal Elohas represent the 7 races of the Elohas. And so they walked to a larger craft and sat down inside of it. Yahweh told Rael to brace himself for a ride across the galaxy, which would only take 15 minutes. It would be uncomfortable because it is his first time. First time is always uncomfortable. Rael said he felt a sense of coldness going throughout all his pores. 15 minutes later, it was over. He said maybe he was possibly quick-lung. If there is no soul, then there is no soul, then it's pointless. At least Claude is still conscious after he did that. Yeah, I want Elohim technology in our culture. When he got to the planet, he and Yahweh split up. He went to a shower and put on a suit on, which machines helped him out. He felt a lot better and smelled good. They were on the planet of Turtles, and Rael was prepared to do what they were going to do. Rael noticed they were not wearing breathing apparatuses. Yahweh said technology has advanced so far they don't need them. And he also will remember everything that happens due to enhancements in technology. So he got to an area with morphing landscapes and morphing skies. So it's all due to animal machinery and it works perfectly in sync with everything. Right in this little area, people started showing up. A Chinese man, Buddha, a slim, slender man, and an athletic man next to him, and a darker, older-looking man with the 2. A few others who looked pretty much human and very benevolent and nice. And some Elohas and humans with blue marks in their foreheads, and some Elohas also. This was a meeting. The people with marks in their foreheads were serving fruit and very delicious meats. Yahweh told Rael the people with blue stones in their foreheads are robots. People get very attached to them. The group of 3 men was Jesus, Elijah, and Moses. The Chinese man was Buddha. Among other religious leaders, the fruit served was fruit with sugar, seared meats, and fried vegetables. He said it was awesome. Every time I cook like this. After the lovely meeting, he was told to strap a belt on, take him with a servant bought. Yahweh said the machines will guide him till the next morning. So they floated around and started arriving at a place where the people were created from the DNA when they die, on Earth, which also probably houses the computer which watches over all the people on Earth. Wow, kind of feels like I'm right there, or will be there someday. So robot was told him what it was, that he will take a little piece of DNA from his forehead bone now, put it in the clone machine. Within seconds, he witnessed bones form, next nerves, next soft tissue and muscles, then finally skin and hair, like when the army was raised from the dead in the Bible. Amazing, it was an exact replica of himself. The replica opened his eyes, and Rael was told he serves no purpose because you are alive. He's happy with his fate of being put to sleep. Don't worry, he won't feel no pain. He was then asked, "Do you have a picture of someone you love?" He replied, his mom. So he took a picture out and gave it to the robot, which then put it in the machine. Next thing, a 20-year-old version of his mom with blue star on her forehead came out. Rael was told, "This will be one of your robots. If you ever arrive on this planet someday, sooner or later." The robot said, "Let's get you to your sleeping quarters for the night. Proof that if we get cloning technology that we will live on." The robot asked Rael if he'd like some friendly female servant robots for the night. Rael gladly replied yes, and he was shown 7 different ones from every human race. Rael said he'd like all of them. So next thing we know, Rael's in the hot tub with 24 very beautiful women, all with blue forehead stones. Rael was asked if he likes music and said yes. So as he listened, it changed with his thoughts. Rael was amazed. Rael was told to put on a VR helmet, and so he did. Saw his thoughts projected perfectly onto the screen inside. Rael was amazed again. So next thing we know, the day is done and Rael crashes out. What good is marriage? Oh, I want to get married. Well, are you stupid? It's a harsh commitment. We all make mistakes. Just make up for them. In the land of the Eternals, they put on shows with their thoughts. And it is awesome. I wish I had chemical education, but for now I go to school. Rael awakes to Yahweh saying, I heard about the robots. Did you have a good time? Rael said, yes. He said, get cleaned up and come meet me outside with the guide. The guide robot guided Rael outside, and Yahweh said, thanks. I'll take it from here. So they went to the Council of Elohim. Rael was told to put a helmet on. We're going to do a few things to his brain to improve it a lot. Rael said, this will be a bit jolting, so brace yourself. Rael felt some very strange stuff. Right in Rael. We said when it was done and the helmet was off, things felt very strangely easy. Chemical education was probably used here, so the Raelian movement would have lots of strength. Rael had felt somewhat uncomfortable, but it wore off almost by the end of his trip. He was told, what you see, we see. What you hear, we hear. We can now speak to you through others, so they can't judge you. Next thing that happened, they went to have breakfast with the eternal prophets, or as Rael called it, was breakfast with the prophets. He saw Jesus, Elijah, and Moses, and Jesus smiled very gently at him. He always said, these people want to be reunited with earth. Also, Buddha and Muhammad were there. The breakfast was really tasty. Remember, they are in the morning. In Sioux Falls, they felt the Elohim plant and know the prayers exactly. Most of what Yahweh said next was he thinks that the Jews would be the most to welcome them back. Mistake, the Jews that are Raelians and the Buddhists, because they are the first assembly on Mount Sinai, which wasn't a base. Later on, we learned that it's the Buddhists and free thinkers who would be most willing to welcome them back. Alas, the government Jesus. The Jews lost their welcome because the corporations owned by them. To all these Zionists and Jesus freaks, I admit your prayers are good, but become what you are supposed to be, and that's a Raelian. But only if you are fit for it. The silver spoon in your mouth thing, genealogic as it's called, movement for welcoming the Elohim, translated from French. The Elohim won another big embassy on earth, and there's a 0.5% chance of that happening. A shred of hope. They could have just landed one of their craft full of technology instead and leave instructions. They always said mostly it's because they don't want to be alone in the universe. We are a good candidate for partnership. Of course, what Yahweh says next makes perfect sense. If your science is advanced far enough in your politics too, you will one day receive an inheritance of our technology. Good enough, because then we will automatically have counsel with the Elohim. The Elohim was also told Rael that a cataclysm happened to the older race of people that actually created them. It was due to the lack of brain power. They were not fit for their creation, so somehow they died off. There are 3 different planets of humans, parallel humanities. And Yahweh explained this first. He said, it's time to go home. Now I'll drop you off before you take off, as to not alert anybody of our craft. So Rael was back at his location one day later in the middle of the night, midnight or sometime around there, and he got back to the house. He sat down and started writing. He wrote down his experience in the beginning of a book called Sensual Meditation, which is also the end of this book. The sensual meditation part talks about how to meditate properly in a straitjacket called society.